For the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to find answers on life's most important questions. Who do I want to be? What do I want to do with my life? And how many dashes does it take to 112% complete Hollow Knight? Well, I may have found an answer to the last question, and that's what we'll be discussing in this video. Furthermore, we'll also take a look at the maximum percent that you can get without dashing in Hollow Knight. Together with all this, I've given myself the challenge of writing the script and editing this video within the next 24 hours. Ready? Let's go. For clarity, a few things. Everything I say in this video is based on my own research from the last 4 episodes. Most of the footage will also come from those 4 episodes, so if you're looking for a more explored-like experience, I suggest you watch those videos as well. For linearity, I'll go over this region by region, though before we get to actual item collecting, we first need to take a look at our abilities and the order in which we get those. Our first objective, weirdly enough, will be to get Mothwing Cloak. We go through King's Pass, Dirtmouth, Crossroads, where we beat False Knight and get the Vengeful Spirit, and then Green Path, where we fight Hornet. Even though we do get dash, we can disable it in the options menu, so you can't accuse me of accidentally dashing. After we get dash, we can either quit back to the bench, or die in this pool of acid water. Our shade will respawn way back even before the battle arena, and so we can continue on to Mantis Claw. The road to this ability is more tough than one might imagine, since there are 2 difficult skips involved. The first skip is called a Fireball skip and finds its place in Queen's Station. With some very tight maneuvering and the use of the quick cast button on the controller, you can launch 3 fireballs in the opposite direction and move over just barely enough to the other side. After this, there's an explosion poker waiting for you to enter the Mantis village from above, as the right side is impossible to get to without dashing. Once you get in the village, you have to bounce on top of the flying mantises to get back up after hitting the switch and then get Claw, and that's one of the most technical aspects of this run. After this, the next objective is to get Crystal Heart, which we can now get because we can wall jump. There are 2 options to get there. Either farm 1800 Geo and free Sly from the Crossroads, or get to City of Tears and fight the Soul Master to get Desolate Hive. They will both lead you to a path to Crystal Peak, and once there, we can start the next difficult part of the challenge. There's another Fireball skip required for this section right here, and some of the jumps might be a little tricky to make. After going through that, we get one of our best abilities yet, because now we can dash as long as there's a wall or a floor nearby. From Crystal Peak, we can drop into Resting Grounds and also get to Dream Nail, and then we use the elevator down to City to get to the Ancient Basin, where we fight Broken Vessel and get the Monarch Wings. From this point, the game opens up a whole lot, and if we have a simple key, we can enter the Royal Waterways, fight Dung Defender and get Isma Steer, our last movement ability. Now we can move around freely and start looking at all areas individually. In the Howling Cliffs, there are no serious obstacles. We fight Gorb, get the Cyclone Slash, start the Grim Troop side quest, get Joni's Blessing, Baldur Shell and Fury of the Fallen, and also get this Vessel Fragment by doing a neat jump with this fly. It's not required though, and getting all the stack stations gives you this one as well. I just want to include my skill in the episode. Dirtmouth has no difficult or tricky moments at all. We do the Grim Troop DLC and banish Grim because this is the easiest option, and buy all of Sly's Mask Shards, Vessel Fragments and Charms, as well as all of Iselda's. In Crossroads, everything is easily doable with the abilities... Fucking ice cream cart. You fucking kidding me? I'm trying to record a voiceover here, okay? In Crossroads, everything is easily doable with the abilities that you've got, apart from one thing: Failed Champion. This dream boss is never an easy fight, but without dashing, it just becomes obnoxious. I recommend leaving this boss until the absolute end of the game when you have good charms and the best weapons and spells. A pro tip: you can infinitely stun Failed Champ after his first phase if you keep hitting him without doing damage. Heal, Dream Nail, hit repeat until you're back at full health, and then just spam spells. Flukeness and Shaman Stone help a lot with this fight, so use them while you can, because in the Pantheon, things might get trickier. All grubs and items in Green Path are easily obtainable apart from the Great Slash. The platforming towards this area is difficult and mostly tricky, but a few good tries and a little bit of luck will get you through this area in no time. There's a shade gate in Fog Canyon that you cannot go through for obvious reasons, but everything you need to get is possible with smart maneuvering. The Howling Raid spell can be obtained when going through the bottom or top, and Umu can be fought and defeated when going from the right side. There is no need to interact with the Shade Gate at all, so the first Dreamer is perfectly obtainable. Fungal Wastes has one element of surprise that I kind of looked over the first time I came here, but you need to save Breda for a mask shard in her house in Dirtmouth. The road to her location is a little deadly and filled with spikes, but use double jump and crystal dash wisely and it's cleared in no time. After the chill and ease of Fungal Wastes, it's time for Crystal Peak, and boy, this area does not mess around. If we look at the grubs first, prepare for some big BS. You actually need both Sprint Master and Dash Master to make some of these timed cycles. Sprint Master makes the night go about 20% faster, and Dash Master brings that number up to 37%. You'll have to use Crystal Dash and good timing to make it out alive near some of these crushers. And then I'm not even talking about the conveyor belt one. Crystal Dash and Monarch Wings are your friends here. Prepare to spend a few hours in this area. We're not yet done though, because there's still the Descending Dark area. This is a difficult section to begin with, but combined with the inability to dash and the relentlessness of these crystal fucking flies, it's the worst. You better don't forget the grub in here. Resting Grounds is easy and there's nothing I should say about it. Well, I should. The flower quest actually becomes easier in this run because there's no chance of you accidentally dashing into an enemy. City of Tears has some crossover objectives, like the Nailsmith, who requires oh my fucking god, who requires a lot of pale ore and geo. I hate that sentence, why did I write it like that? City of Tears has some crossover objectives, like the Nailsmith, who requires a lot of pale ore and geo, the Collector, who needs you to get the Love Key in Queen's Gardens, and Shadesoul, which requires the Shopkeeper's Key in the Crystal Peak. While all these things are possible, there is one thing that's difficult in here, and it's the Dream Boss again. This time it's Soul Tyrant. A lot of health and decent damage is advised, especially for his second phase. He slams to the ground so fast that you're bound to get hit at least twice. Look up how much damage you do, how much health the boss has, and you'll be fine. After beating the Watcher Knights, we can get the second Dreamer out of the way and the Black Egg Temple is just a little closer to being opened up. Royal Waterways has, apart from Flukemorm, only one interesting point, the Junk Pit. A simple key, all bosses defeated, with the exception of Grey Prince Sot, and maximum health is strongly advised, especially if you're willing to tackle Pure Vessel. Normally I do not struggle with this fight at all. Now that was a little different. Be prepared to die a lot. Most of his attacks basically require you to dash over or through it. Use Descending Dark's invincibility frames, and that piece of advice also counts for the Radiance. If we look at the Kingdom's Edge, we see that we go through the 3 Colosseum Trials and the second Hornet fight, where we also get the King's Brand to check out the Abyss, Quick Slash and a bunch more grubs. There's one problematic point here, and that is Markov. To get to Markov, you first need to go through this Shadow Gate. This means that this is where we get our first official dash in. Only go through this Shade Gate if you're absolutely certain of being able to beat him first try. If you die, you respawn at the last bench and you'll have to go through the wall again, so your run will be over. Once you succeed, it's only a matter of quitting out or dream warping back to a previous location. If we're looking at the actual no dash part of the question, we need to take a much further look than just the 1% from Markov that's unobtainable. Because you can't get to him, that means they also can't start Pantheon 4, which means you'll be locked out of another percent. There's more than 3,200 essence in the entire game, so luckily you won't get locked out of the Awoken Dreamnail part.
Oh my god. Oh, well, now I have to do that on the other side. Well... What? I am an actual god.
The Hive is all possible and pretty easy for a late game area at least. but I somehow managed to die on Hive Night. That's probably because of my own recklessness, but just a warning, you're never safe in Hollow Nest. Every grub, collectible and boss in Deepness is easy enough, but Sharp Shadow, a charm that I'll literally never use, comes along and breaks the fun. There's a shade gate in front of the gauntlet which increases our official dash count to 2. The section behind this gate is possible, but not damageless as far as I know. Not getting this charm for our no dash objective locks out one thing, Salubra's Blessing. Luckily for us that doesn't count towards 112%, so we just lose 1% from the unobtained charm. We also get the third and last streamer, so a chance at beating the game damageless is within our reach. Damageless? Dashless, fucking idiot. We also get the third and last streamer, so a chance at beating the game dashless is within our reach. The Ancient Basin has a white palace, and this is surprisingly enough one of the most fun parts in the run. It creates a new challenge in the platforming throughout the palace, however there are some skips that are nice to know about before you tackle it. This one is the biggest example because the section above us is not possible dashless. Maybe Team Cherry knew what we were planning on doing all along. The Abyss has Shade Cloak, an ability that I'll literally never purposefully use, and there's a Shade Gate here leading to a Void Tendril journal entry, but there's no reason to go there. It's not marked on the map, but there's also a place called the Birthplace. You go here when you want to turn King Soul into Void Heart. And apart from this really tricky and fun jump, there's an undodgeable Shade Gate right behind that. Our official dash counter turns to 3. If we skip this, we're locked out of 4 from 5 endings of the game, including the Pantheon of Hollow Nest ending. Again, luckily for us, this Pantheon is not a percentage. Since King Soul and Void Heart have the same place in a charm menu, it's also the same percent. Not dashing here means that we don't get locked out of a single percentage, because King Soul is entirely possible, right? Well, no. If we take a look at the last area, Queen's Gardens, we can see that there's half of a King Soul hidden behind Trader Lord, who's hidden behind another Shade Gate. Dashing here brings the official counter up to 4, but not dashing here locks us out of 1% from Trader Lord and 1% from the King Soul charm. That means we lose 2% here. And then this answers our final question already. How many dashes does it take to 100% complete Hollow Knight? 4. 1 dash in the Birthplace to get to Void Heart, 1 dash in Queen's Gardens to get to Trader Lord and to get the last part of the King Soul, 1 dash to get to the Markov fight in the Kingdom's Edge, and 1 dash to get to Sharp Shadow in Deepness. Our bonus question can be answered as well. What's the maximum percent you can get without dashing in Hollow Knight? 107%. We miss out on 1% from Markov, 1% from Pantheon 4 because of Markov and Traitor Lord, 1% from Traitor Lord, 1% from the King Soul / Void Heart charm, and 1% from the Sharp Shadow charm. Because we miss out on the Void Heart charm, we'll also get locked out of the Radiance ending and will have to do with the Hollow Knight himself. Hopefully this video inspired you to try and see what the limit of certain things is. Maybe you want to see how many coins it takes to 100% complete Super Mario Odyssey, or maybe you want to see how I got an N++ world record. The point is, if you never try, you'll never know. Sometimes you gotta leap to see if you land softly, but I promise you, I'll be thinking of you when you finally make the leap.